Okay, YouTube, I have a bone to pick with this particular topic, how to make any sound. If you've seen my channel, you may or may not have watched this video. How can you recreate any sound from your head? And the answer is no, you cannot. There is no way in hell that you are going to recreate just from being able to hear different sounds like the things that I make. These are just a few sounds. It's not going to happen. Good luck. Good luck. You might be able to make something like it, which is the key topic of this video, but to recreate the exact thing that I did is a myth. It's impossible. And I wish that these YouTubers that are making videos like this would embrace that. I think that they have good intentions, and I've actually watched through a lot of these. And to be honest, I would say even people like Alex is a little bit more in the clear, just because how to make any sound from scratch, that's more of just like an intro to sound design for me. But how to create any sound, how to recreate any sounds, whatever, that it's just not a thing. You can do some stuff that's very basic. You know, if you hear a synthesizer and you hear that it has a basic filter and it sounds like an acid or whatever, like you can be like, oh yeah, that's a 303. But even then, people spend years trying to recreate certain algorithms within something like a Juno synth because it has a certain detuned voltage to it that gives it a particular character. You know what I'm saying? And the more that you listen to sounds like I have for, you know, my entire life, but been doing music production for like what, 12 years now, you'll start to realize that you can't just make anything out of a subtractive synth. Now, are there guidelines? Absolutely. And I think that that's what these videos really mean to try to address. For example, watching Akayo's video, you know, he takes some very basic sounds and is like, oh, here's how you do this. And these are things that are pretty common within music production. But the thing is like, those are very basic sounds. And for people that get into anything experimental, any of the stuff that I do, any of the stuff that the people that I look up to do, let me tell you this. I have done a lot of lessons with people, and I've asked them how they have made X sound. And you know what they tell me? They say, I don't know, because they were just messing around. They were just exploring. They were doing things like this, where they have crazy effect chains, you know, with loads and loads of OTTs and feedback systems that create just weird sounds like this. For all of you experts out there, how did I do it? If you can create this sound, let me know. Here's a hint. I used feedback. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just not a thing. Yeah, it's silly and arrogant to think that you can recreate any sound that somebody has made. There are so many options within sound design and so much nuance that we should be respecting these other artists for what they do and take inspiration from them. But to think that, oh, yeah, I can just hear anything and then recreate it, like, no, it's ridiculous. And it makes me upset too, because like I don't just see it on YouTube, I see it on social media with all of these people like recreating these old Skrillex sounds, or these people like, you know, making this kind of stuff that is like took years to figure out, you know, and then now people are making sounds out of it and whatever. And it's clearly jocking, you know, is that even, do people even say that anymore? But it's clearly copying like some of the greats. I guess like just the whole attitude behind it is that, like, you know, some people uptake this thing as being able to be like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do, and you know, I'm gonna dedicate my life towards recreating sounds, and I have a sense of respect for that. But for the average producer, and even then, somebody that's really good at sound design will tell you the same thing. You can't. There's too many variables. There are way too many variables at hand. Unless if, you know, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to make something like this where I heard this, you know, kind of pluck thing within, you know, I don't know, some kind of Fred Again song or something silly. And here it is. And here's a tutorial on how to sound like Fred Again. Oh, and you just add some distortion and whatever, and then there you go. And then like subscribe to my channel. I'm an amazing sound designer. It was like 3 steps. You get what I'm saying? Like, yes, you can trace this back, but when you start adding stuff like this, for example, this is where things starts to fall off the map. This is where things become untraceable. Not necessarily untraceable, but it becomes a lot like, yeah, it is untraceable. There's no way that people are going to be able to recreate this kind of stuff in the way that I do anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not going to happen. So I'm not trying to be a doom and gloomer. It's more so of a matter of understanding that the spectrum is this big. And I wish that people would be making videos to help beginners set up the mindset that is more geared towards, here is how to take inspiration from sounds that you like. And here are things that you can audibly detect, you know, like your waveforms, like filtering, like reverb, like chorus, and like all of this stuff that goes into the glossary of sound design. But you cannot remake any sound just by having a dense glossary. You have to have taken the time to figure out how each sound interacts with each sound in any combination, and then do that with 3 effects, 4 effects, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then figure out how to break it. Like, that is the key to understanding sound design to the maximum potential. But even still, there are things that I can't do unless if somebody shows me how to do it, and I still can't do it exact because it was a mistake, a happy mistake, a happy accident. How can somebody recreate a happy accident? You get what I'm saying? It just grinds my gears for that kind of stuff. Again, I think that these people have good intentions, and I'm not trying to call anybody out or start any kind of controversy. I just want to tell you the truth. I just want to tell you my experience, and I want to set up a realistic expectation to where you don't have the pressure of having to recreate this stuff because it's virtually impossible anyways. And I will say that if you want to figure out how to do other people's sounds, go to them, reach out to them on Discord, Facebook, email, whatever, and ask if you can pay them for lessons. And if you can't because you can't afford it, barter. You know what I mean? Offer something of value, because expecting things for free is kind of this entitled, you know, culture that we've come into. And on one end, I'm really happy that the floodgates of music production knowledge is just like, but at the same time, you have to remember that the foundation of where we're at today was built on people that have spent hours and just slaved away and become antisocial and all that just to make that cool sound. And I think that's why that bothers me the most, you know? It's like when people are like, yo, I'm just going to use this AI thing or whatever, and then it sounds like 20% as good, and they're like, yeah, I can make any sound. And I'm just like, because it's, you know, it's never going to be that. In any case, I think that there are certain things that while you can recreate them, you shouldn't be trying to in the first place, because what are you going to do? You're going to use that sound in your own production, and then you're going to make a track that's better than the person that you admire. No, it's like, change the way that we think here. Like, change the whole approach to understanding it. For me, I don't want to ask people how to make these sounds. I want to ask them what are the conversations that they're having whenever they're going for something. And I have gotten so much more out of that with the reasoning behind the sound design, with the approach to the sound design, as opposed to, you know, how do I make a G Jones bass? Does that make sense? So in any case, I apologize for the rant. And again, I'm not trying to attack anybody, you know, personally, but if you are a beginner producer, avoid these kinds of things, because this is, you're looking for a cheat sheet here. And if you're looking for a cheat sheet, either A, go find that artist, or B, go find that artist and see if they have a sample / preset pack, so that way you can just get the sound. You know what I'm saying? Because this whole approach of, oh, I can make any sound in my head and I can remake any sound from any song, good luck. I challenge any of you to remake some of the shit that I've made. Like, go for it and send it to me, tag me in it. And if it's accurate, if it's 80% accurate, you know what? I'll take the video down or something. You know what I mean? I will offer some kind of reward, although I haven't decided what it will be. But I'm that confident that you won't be able to do that. And I'm not saying that these sounds are great, but they're unique. Isn't that what art is about? Be unique. Be unique. You can take inspiration, but be unique. And I'll leave you with that. If you do like my sounds, alchemy.com. I also do lessons. But with that being said, find yourself. Use those videos or use those other sounds and use the basics of sound design to be like, that was really cool. Now I'm gonna take this as far as I can get, and then start trying other stuff, because you should be learning how to think, not what to think. I'll see you later.